Hello folks, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to be here, feeling quite excited today. The weather's returned to normal, which means that the wasp plague is over, which is good. And today, something, well, it's a follow-up really. The Andy Neville guitar workshop video went down really well. It was lovely to see all the comments. I think Andy appreciated it. And it's just nice. That's what we want this channel to be about, really, is me showing you cool people and cool things, and you hopefully enjoying it. So we're going to move on from that today. The Andy Neville video was actually, well, a couple of weeks ago. We're bang up to date again now. You know, we'd stored a couple of it. Sorry, peanuts on camera too today. We kind of banked a couple of videos, and that one, you know, I really wanted to get the edit right because it is a little bit different from our usual content. So that's why that kind of, there was a lag on that, but this is bang up to date. We're filming the week that this will come out. So welcome aboard if you're new. We've had quite a few new subscribers. I hope you like the new branding. That was me tatting about on Photoshop in between the work on the thumbnails that I do, which I'm sure you'll also appreciate. So we're following up. Obviously, it's been a couple of weeks. I said that already. This basically is the only guitar I've been playing since then. It has been so inspiring to get back on this Tele, and considering it was a guitar that had sort of really fallen out of favour a little bit. So I wanted to talk to you about my experience with this Coil-Split. Now, that's the first thing you'll notice, is that in the Andy Neville video, which we'll probably play now, well, I should tell you before we play it, I referred to it as a coil tap. So we'll show you that video now.
Dear viewer, we've decided against the Bigsby, but through some magic, we're tapping the humbucker in the neck. Oh yes, we are.
And of course, it's not a coil tap, is it? In the weeks since, and God bless you, Andy, for not. I'm sure he knew I was making a total pillock of myself. It's not a coil tap, is it? But he's too much of a gentleman to pull me up on it. It's a Coil-Split. The thing that was done to this, the surgery, the emergency surgery, obviously we fixed that. New Earth, working brilliantly. And we put a Coil-Split into that. So guitar gods, please forgive me for getting the terminology wrong. So it's a Coil-Split, which means we split that into a single coil. And you look everywhere online and it's like, yeah, it gives more, you know, articulation to your to a certain type of lead playing. But the most useful thing that I've found this, terrible sentence, the thing that I have found this the most useful for is chords, and specifically like big guitar sound chords. That's another bad sentence, isn't it? Chords using a big guitar sound. This is only coffee number 2, so forgive me. The video will improve as we go on. So I've built another little patch to show you what I mean by this. I say I built it for this video. I didn't. What I do is I got this back, tatted about on it as you do, with the headphones on late at night, playing through the Tele patch. I'll tell you about the patch situation in a bit. Playing through the Tele patch, went spacious on it, because that's one area that I'd never really pushed the Boss into, you know, like really kind of extremes of delay and reverb. Ready for this? And I have kind of commented on the Boss reverbs before. I'm going to update my review on all that. I've made a new patch called the Space Tele patch. Perhaps at this point we will rescue camera 2. Camera 2. No gimbal. So this is the Space Tele patch. So the point of this video isn't particularly the Space Tele patch. Oh, do you want to see this? Do you want to see what I learned? Look at this. So there's the static, right? Watch this. Spit, human spit. Gone. That's mad, isn't it? Why does that work? Yeah, so that's a stat. I'm probably wearing the world's worst jumper for a guitar that amplifies static. Anyway, the patch that I've built really is to highlight Andy Neville's fantastic work on this Coil-Split, not a coil tap, on the Fender designed humbucker, which I always found, and I'll show you, I always found a little bit woolly. I'll show you. I mean, it's a lovely sound in isolation. That was on the wrong pickup. I was like, that's not woolly. That seems like actually quite clear. Let's get woolly. So the point of this video is to show you in some detail what the coil tap has, Coil-Split has done for me. It's also to sort of exaggerate that with, you know, quite extreme guitar sound. Extreme for me, not for some, I'm sure. But, you know, the good thing about this Space Tele patch is it does also push my use of the GX10 into... It pushes it on a little further in terms of the extremes of sound. So let's come on to the GX10 real quick, and then we'll get straight onto the Coil-Split, and then you'll hopefully see why we've got this patch. Obviously, I could have done it on the normal Tele patch, but I think this is a really good way to articulate, to illustrate to you how I will be mostly using this. Chords are everything to me, as you'll have learned by now. So the basics of this amplifier pedal setup is the same as the normal Tele. The only difference is that we've got two delays. We've got a digital delay and an analog delay, although I think that might have been the same. The main difference really is when you go into those. So up the front, fuzz, compression, the same. I think there's a little more fuzz on this. I'm going to save the fuzz. We don't need to hear that just yet. Compression, overdrive. Let's go really clean. Deluxe reverb amplifier. That's the same. You know, using that high gain switch thing. The Johnny Marr doubler. Haven't touched the chorus yet in this video. Delay. You'll see 620 milliseconds. So that is my crotchet or quarter note delay. And lots of it. Then there's the eighth note delay. That's the analog delay, and less of it, but still quite a lot of it. This is where it's getting crazy. So plate reverb, 6.6 seconds, 6.66 seconds if I had my way. And you will notice there is 80% effect level, huge amounts of reverb. If we go into that real quick, the one thing that I love about these, and I think that Boss is known for, is its modulated reverbs. And this, you know, if you just stick the reverb on and copy the initial settings that I showed you, it won't sound like that. You can see there, plate 6.6 seconds. 6.6 seconds, yeah, that's correct. 80, tone 0, density 7, so we want it big. Pre-delay 80 milliseconds, low cut 125, 6.3 kilohertz, high cut. You've got to do that, otherwise it just gets out of control. I've said that before. Mod rate 60, mod depth 70. So that is, you know, essentially a chorusing of the reverb itself. try it. You know, in amongst all of the other noise that I've got on there, you'll be hard pushed to hear it, I think. But when you do it in the context of a sound like this, you will notice the difference it makes. Adds kind of width and lushness. And I've also turned up the mod stuff on all of these. You'll notice that on the analog delay, 60 mod rate, 40 mod depth. So really I'm leaning into all that stuff for this kind of sound. And I think the same on here. So you probably think, oh no, there's no mod on that one. So that's just the digital delay. That's literally just the delay. And that is the Space Tele patch. So at this point, let's hear a bit of that. Let's just do some clean sound for a bit. And let's do it. Now, as I say, there's many things that's cool about the Coil-Split. Namely what it does to the middle pickup. So this is as clean as it's going to get on this sound. And it is pretty clean, but you'll notice that the size is still... Now what you can hear there, hopefully, I'll play a bit and you can see for yourself. Here we go. Still going. There you go. Cool. So the idea, what I'm trying to show you there is that guitar sound to me, and Andy commented on this in the video, is like you've got all that nice Tele stuff going on in the high end, and then you've got this cloud of humbucker on the backside of it, on the bottom end. And you know, that's, so if I switch over to the bridge pickup, you'll hear. No such problems. And really, you know, if I switch up to here, it's if you're stuck with that, you know, you'd find a way to figure that out. You'd dial the amp back. But I mentioned this on the video, is that however well I set up the bridge and the mix on the amplifier, that this would just not play ball. Now, if we, with full volume, full tone on everything, if we now, let's get a little bit more volume in the room. We have now split the humbucker, and pay attention, if you can, to the bottom end on this guitar sound. Here we go. Much more balanced straight away, right? Really cool. All that Tele stuff that we like is much clearer. Have you had a bath today? If you haven't, you just did. How about that? Huge difference. And that is not the end of it, folks, at all. Not the end of it at all. Because what that allows us now, once we've got that thinner sound happening, obviously this is going to be different too. So here is... that's the way I describe that sound, you know, that is killing that for me. That phase. Now for like individual notes. Individual notes, nothing wrong with that, but again, in a mix, is this going to be more useful? Quite possibly, right? So. Lovely character. So for my purposes, and that's what I'm thinking about, you know, going back to see Andy and getting him to wire it the other way, is that actually I don't know whether I just am going to be using it like that more. Obviously, that's not going to affect the bridge pickup. The reason I like that guy, well, I've just shown you the reason I like it. But when you start adding drive to that sound, so let's do that now. Let's stick the overdrive on and have a little play with that. Then we are also going to talk about the tones themselves and the effect that this mod, to me, has really opened up the tones themselves as devices. I am not a person, generally speaking, that plays around with the knobs on the guitar. 10, 10, 10, 10, and off we go. It is how I do it. But actually, I've really been having a lot of fun with that, and we'll come to that in a sec. Let's stay with the middle pickup. Here we go. So we've got the warm overdrive on. Here it is. Not going to be that drivey. Just a bit more articulated. Fingers spazzing out. If I had the full tone on there, most of that would have been inaudible. I'll just show you that a little bit there, Dan. See what I mean? It's crazy, isn't it? It's cool. Bit of a mess, a hot mess, a beautiful mess, you might say. Forget about it if we. Oh, look at that, misbehaving. Already quite overwhelming. You know, barely got started. And the thing with this sort of guitar sound is the more you stack things, which we're going to do in just a second, the more pronounced all the stuff that you like and don't like about the tone is. Let's put some fuzz on. So this is like my impression of a, you know, post-rock shoegaze person. Pretty cool. That's with the fuzz on down here, and all the other stuff. This is without the Coil-Split in. It's quite quickly getting quite overwhelming. Bosh. Here we go. What a lovely noise. There you go. So that's quite cool. That's the full Welly on the Boss Space Tele patch and the Coil-Split. We didn't even go to that one, but it, you know, you can trust me. It's kind of this guitar makes a noise like a, if you hear it, like a duck. Can't make it do it. One word when I hear that sound, do you know what it is? Church. So you can see the point of that. It articulation, clarity, and it just removes the thing that is specific. Might just be this guitar, it could even be this pickup, but it's just for those sort of tones, and for many of my other tones, that there it was, the duck noise. And again, for many of my sort of tones in recent years, that has just been too woolly. It does get used, but not nearly as much as it does now with the Coil-Split. Highly recommend it, gang. That is a great pickup, and even better when it's split. The final thing to say is it's really opened up just what I've been, I've been playing with the tones a lot more, the actual tone controls. some beautiful stuff. Let's just go back onto the Tele mix so you can really hear it. So we're full volume. And then here is the, let's clean it up a little bit. Here we go. I've just taken the fuzz off. I might even take the overdrive off for this bit so you can really hear it. Probably hear both. So I think overdrive on for this little bit. Here we go. So obviously when you're in the middle position, both of these tones are active. So the non-split one and the split one, let's just roll those back a little bit. This is the kind of thing I've been playing with. In fact, let's just go all the way back. It's seriously beautiful. Kind of almost like a pad vibe, really cool. Quite cool on this one actually for that. Here we go, so. So that's sort of like tape delay, eat your heart out, and it just sounds like kind of one of those quite expensive pedals with all the lights and the fade. Is it Chase Bliss? And if you modulate that a bit more, you've really got something cool there. Then let's just crank them up a little bit. So like 555, really cool. A little bit less. Now, obviously, as we're coming up from the bottom here, you'll be like, is it going to get much brighter than that? Because that sounds like a totally usable sound, doesn't it? That. But actually, there's a lot of the tone is rolled off that. Let's roll a little bit more tone in. So it's around the sort of 3/4 mark. And you almost forget how bright it was to begin with. So If you've liked the video, folks, you know what to do. Many thanks for watching. We will see you next time.